So this week is the election. I hope every single one of you gets out to vote. I got my dad an absentee ballot. Don't worry about him. His 89-year-old self, which is in paradise down in El Salvador, is still going to be still able to cast his vote. What I wanted to talk about was this election in particular and how we saw digital transform the Obama election, really through email. Now, where I think the new opportunity is going to be, and we haven't really seen much of it this election, but hopefully we will, is mobility. What is mobility's impact going to be to politics in general? One, I do want to talk a little bit and rant a little bit on the Obama emails. Like, really? Michelle might email me like 4 times a day. And it's always like, it's our chance. Oh my God, last moment. Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton sends me a note. I get Pelosi, Joe Biden. It's like, really? Every single one of you guys are sending me emails. So first of all, I think we have to think when we're delivering messages, how to really think about the amount of clutter that we're putting into people's inbox. And what worries me as we go to the messaging space, will we be as cognizant about making sure that we are not spamming the crap out of people and we're actually delivering things that make sense. The other thing I think, which I was surprised that we didn't see this year, was more the ability to donate to campaigns just by texting back yes and using the phone. So I think we're going to see that moving forward maybe the next 4 years. What I also think has been interesting is just the sheer amount of consumption that is happening now inside of the political media that's happening on mobile phones and the increase of that. The thing that I find the most interesting about this election this year is, unfortunate as it is, it feels, look, it's crazy. We've never seen anything like this. But actual engagement and viewership is up. So viewership of the debates are actually higher than we've seen in a long time, which means more people are actually paying attention, more people are actually engaged in this election. And so I'm glad that we finally have a voting politic. But can you imagine what that amount of engagement will look like when you can just simply vote over your phone? And I know there are challenges to making sure that it's a real person, real vote, but I think that what we're going to see is the revitalization of kind of an active core, politic. I think we're going to actually see people more engaged in politics if they have the opportunity to simply use their phone to actually cast their vote, not just for candidates, but also on issues, also not just the presidential elections, but multiple elections. So I think that's interesting. The one thing that we found out in the book when we did a lot of work in terms of research and conversation that we had with like the head of politics for Twitter was that people feel actually more connected to politicians now than ever because the volume of communication that they're getting from them and because the general personalization that's happening around that communication. So I think that's an interesting shift that the mobile phone has brought in, which is we actually feel more connected to our politicians than ever before. Now, again, I think 4 years from now, what we're going to see is we're actually going to see those politicians delivering those messages on messaging platforms versus just through email. But I do think what we can look forward to is a continued deeper connection that we feel with the people who actually run our country and ultimately make laws that govern kind of our lives. So that's how I feel around politics and mobile phones. Again, Bonin, Bough, let's talk about it. 646-759-1837. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You don't have to tell me exactly who you voted for. That's cool. Keep that to yourself. But I'd love to just hear your thoughts on this election and politics and mobility.